Hello, my name is Daniel Hawkins and I'm a second year MBA candidate and a Centre for Digital Strategies MBA Fellow at the Tuck School of Business at Dartmouth College. I'm pleased to welcome Mary McDowell, Executive Vice President and Chief Development Officer at Nokia, who is joining us today as part of the Brit Technology Impact Series. Welcome to Tuck, Mary.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. So you have quite a range of responsibilities as Chief Development Officer. I wonder if you could just describe your role a little bit and sort of tell us if you feel there's a sort of common theme that runs through it all.
Sure. So under my responsibilities at Nokia are things such as Nokia Research Center, which are the research labs, strategy, business development, alliances, developers, IT. So as you say, quite a range. The way I look at it is our mission is really to figure out what are the growth opportunities and potential for the company, and in some case make the investments and drive the activities to create those options for the company in the future. So it's a combination of sort of the technology asset development as well as business development opportunities to try to create this potential for growth.
So you mentioned the Nokia Research Center. So I was wondering if you could give us a vision, sort of sense of the vision that Nokia has for mobile services.
Right. So we've been going through quite a transformation in Nokia Research Center. What was largely a group focused on wireless and radio research has been expanded to be much more about software and services. So some of the things that we're working on, for example, on user interfaces, on how to take advantage of the literally billions of data points that are available to us about consumer behavior through use of mobile services, as well as just other service capabilities themselves, SMS capabilities and things like that. So quite a range of capabilities going on, and not just in isolation. One of the changes we've made over the past few years with NRC is to align with major university research institutions. So we've got sites at MIT, at Berkeley, at Stanford, Lausanne in Switzerland, the universities in Finland, of course, Tsinghua in Beijing, and also sites in India and Africa.
So you're here today talking about mobile payments. So I ask you specifically to sort of talk about Nokia's work in that field.
Right. The opportunity that we see with mobile payments is just to try to bridge the gap between the number of mobile phones that exist in the world, which is somewhere in the range of 4 billion, and the number of bank accounts, which is somewhere in the range of 1.6 billion. So there's a lot of people walking around with phones that don't have access to the basic financial services and the convenience and security of being able to put your cash someplace safe and be able to make transactions very simply. In many communities, it's just not cost effective to put an ATM or to build a brick and mortar bank. And a credit card really has no intelligence. But if you think about a mobile device, it's got a processor, it's got memory, and most importantly, it's got connectivity. So it can really serve as the access point to mobile services. We have quite a strong distribution network in many of the emerging markets where these underbanked communities primarily exist. So we're looking at leveraging that as the agents for cashing in and cashing out of mobile payments via the device.
So you mentioned obviously that mobile payments, you're quite active rolling out some new initiatives there in emerging markets, and I think that's one of the striking things about Nokia as a company, the range, the international scope that you have in the different markets where you have really very strong market share, and also the range of devices that you offer. So I wonder if you could speak a little bit to us about the challenges and the opportunities of having that degree of scale and scope in your operations.
Yeah, so I'll start with the positives, of course. It affords us to do things that very few other manufacturers can. So, for example, one of our primary services is something called Comes with Music, where a consumer has access to thousands of music tracks for free when they purchase a device. We are able to go to the record labels and promise scale of distribution and geographic presence that no other manufacturer can commit to. So if you think about the mobile device becoming a primary tool for content consumption, we're in a strong position there. In many countries, the device purchase and the service plan purchase are separate. And so in those instances, we manage the retail distribution of the devices, and we're investing quite a bit in improving that retail experience and allowing consumers to move from a basic purchase of a phone to also consumption of additional internet and mobile services. And we see that as a growth opportunity as well.
So then just sort of turning our attention sort of to North America and Western European markets, It's clear that with a lot of smartphones that the apps are a really important part of driving interest in different handsets. And I was wondering, and also competing mobile platforms too. So just how is Nokia approaching that, working with the developer community, building up the OV store, and then also building up the MeeGo operating system?
Right. So we start with a base of 40-ish%, 40+% share of Symbian in the smartphone marketplace. Obviously, that number being much lower in North America. But that's a good promise to developers, because what we want to give to developers is make it very simple for them to develop on our platform, make it very quick for them to monetize their investment, and then make it easy for the consumers to actually find and access the applications. And I would say historically, Nokia had focused more on the technology end of things and less on the merchandising and commercialization. So I think we have a good equation in terms of the revenue split with developers, but we're also able to take them into markets that other platforms cannot. So we have a lot of localization with the OV Store. So 80% of the users of OV Store can consume applications in their local language. We have relationships with 66 operators so that we support operator billing, not just credit card purchases. And we're up now to about 1.6 million downloads a day on the OV Store. So it's ramping up quite nicely, particularly as it becomes more pervasive across our smartphone range. So that's really the promise to developers. Still work to be done, but I think all the trends are going in the right direction.